Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Luckiest Peach podcast. I'm your host, Rachel, the Lucky Peach. I've realized I need to start actually having a system for how I introduce and conclude the podcast. I know my chaos just is fitting, but I don't know, maybe, down the road when I have a larger audience, it'll help to sound. I'm already fucking up, dude. What else is new? Anyways, yes, I had a rough week, so at the time that I'm recording this, I have about an hour to upload it to Patreon for its early upload at patreon.com/luckypeach. Yeah, if you subscribe to Patreon at patreon.com/luckypeach, you get access to each episode a week early, as well as if you are at the $6 tier or higher, you also get video access to the podcast, which you just get to actually watch me being a dumbass. And sometimes you get to see the result of me destroying my breakouts all over my face and my hair not cooperating. I wasn't going to cut my hair, but I think today's the day because my roots are bothering me. When you have short hair and your roots grow out, it just looks gross. I'm not trying to look like Justin Timberlake in the 90s, you know? Anyways, welcome. With that, I guess. If you're new here, good luck. But also, it is the second week of July. So with that, it is Cult of the Month time, which if you're new, that is the second week out of the month where I talk about and review a cult classic film. In cinema, there's really no method to how I choose these movies. I have a book that's full of cult movies, and I just open it and point my finger and whatever it is. That's not true. That's not entirely true. I don't do that because before I picked this film, I did that and it landed on Solo, and I was not about to make no. We're not doing that. So yes, with that being said, this month's pick for Cult of the Month is Baz Luhrmann's Strictly Ballroom from 1992. I would consider this this probably is his least known film. If you don't know Baz Luhrmann, he's most famous for Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge, The Great Gatsby, Australia. So yeah, this is his directorial debut. So obviously it's going to be lesser known. It is the first in his Red Curtain trilogy, which also includes Romeo and Juliet and Moulin Rouge. The Red Curtain trilogy is just theater motif related, which means if you've seen any of these films, you know what I mean? It looks very theatrical. It feels like you're in a theater watching these movies. They're very dramatic, very colorful. The music is wild. There's actual curtains that come over the screen. All three of these films have that vibe. I've already seen the other two. Moulin Rouge was my sexual awakening as a child. So, this is where I tell you that Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman were my sexual awakening as a child. Not just for Moulin Rouge, but just in general. So the fact that they're still attractive today means is good. Is good, you know. Basically. Yeah, more Nicole Kidman than Ewan McGregor. Yeah, for sure. I mean, although I did really like robots when I was a kid. But Nicole Kidman, just in the early 2000s, gave hit after hit after hit. And I was just into it. Anyways, Pride Month is over. Just kidding. You never stop being queer after Pride Month ends. Anyways, So because this is his directorial debut and like it's lesser known, it was also made like five-ish years before Romeo and Juliet. The cast isn't as like prolific as his other films, you know, because Romeo and Juliet, you have the likes of, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes, and then Moulin Rouge, you got Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman, and then yeah, it just goes on from there. But regardless, you don't need well-known actors to make a good movie. So yeah, so a little bit of backstory. It's based on a critically acclaimed stage play originally set up in 1984 by Luhrmann and fellow students during his studies at the National Institute of Dramatic Arts in Sydney. An expanded version of the play became a success at the Czechoslovakian Youth Drama Festival in Bratislava in 1986, and in 1988 it made successful season. That's not. It had a successful season at Sydney's Wharf Theatre, where it was seen by Australian music executive Ted Albert and his wife Antoinette. They both loved it, and when Albert soon they both loved it, and when Albert soon after set up the film production company M&A Productions with ex-Film Australia producer Tristram Miall, they offered Luhrmann their plan to transform his play into a film. He agreed on the condition that he would also get to direct it, and the rest is history. The rest is history, and thanks to him, you know, ninth grade me got introduced to Leonardo DiCaprio and absolutely fell in love and lost my goddamn mind. And now I've been a fan of his for almost 10 years. I think that was the first DiCaprio movie I saw in ninth grade was Romeo and Juliet. And I was just like, it's above my desk, but I have a poster that my English teacher in 10th grade gave to me of Romeo and Juliet, where he's looking through the fish tank at the costume party. So it's above my desk. In my old bedroom, it was above my bed. So I don't even think it was in camera before I moved. I don't know. Go back. If you're on Patreon at patreon.com/luckypeach, go back to the first month to April's episodes and let me know if you can see it. You probably can't because I moved my desk a certain way. So I think it was just like the Queen's Gambit poster in the background, which is now on my door. So it's not even in frame either. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, I guess we'll just get into the plot. Continue on. I'm sorry if you can hear my coffee. So the plot is Scott Hastings, the frustrated son of a family of ballroom dancers, has been training since the age of 6. His mother, Shirley, teaches ballroom dancing, and his father, Doug, meekly handles maintenance chores at the dance studio while secretly spending hours in a back room watching old footage of his bygone dance competitions, as well as Scott's. Scott struggles to establish his personal style of dance on his way to win the Pan-Pacific Grand Prix Dancing Championship, but his innovative and flashy, crowd-pleasing steps are not considered strictly ballroom, and as such are denounced by Australian Dancing Federation head Barry Fife. Scott and his dancing partner Liz Holt both lose the Southern District's Waratah Championships due to Scott dancing his own steps, and 3 days later, Liz leaves him to team up with Ken Railings, the recent Waratah Championships winner, whose partner Pam Short has broken both her legs in a car accident, as previously wished upon by Liz. With Scott now alone, only 3 weeks until the championships, Shirley teams up with his coach Les Kendall, her co-constructor at the studio, to start desperately hunting for a new partner for him. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to both of them, Scott is approached by Fran, an overlooked beginner dancer at the studio, and eventually agrees to partner with her, intrigued by her willingness to dance his way. The pairing faces its first hurdle when Fife, attempting to pull Scott into line and prevent him from threatening the dance sport status quo, arranges for Scott to become the new partner of established champion dancer Tina Sparkle. When Shirley and Les hear the news, they are overjoyed. Fran, happening upon them exclaiming over their happiness about Scott's new dance partner, misunderstands initially and believes they have discovered that she and Scott have become partners. When she realizes the truth, she leaves devastated. Scott chases her after her, and although she is hurt, he entices her to dance backstage with him, and her anger is forgotten. However, their dance is witnessed by several onlookers, including Shirley and Les, who then do everything possible to persuade both Scott and Fran that the best way forward for all concerned is for Scott to forget about Fran and sign on as Tina Sparkle's partner. Fran, accused of damaging Scott's chances, reluctantly accedes and returns home crestfallen. Scott argues with his mother, telling her and all he won't be manipulated. Essentially, he won't become Tina's partner. He follows Fran home, where overprotective Spanish father Rico discovers and challenges him. To appease Rico, Scott proposes that they dance a paso doble for the assembled company. Rico and Fran's grandmother, Yaya, demonstrate the proper paso doble technique and offer to teach the couple. Fran and Scott spend the next week training, supported by her family. However, Fife intervenes, telling Scott that Doug ruined his career by dancing his own steps, which he's regretted ever since. Unwilling to cause his parents further heartache, Scott teams with Liz to attempt to win the Pan Pacific. During the championship competition, Doug explains to Scott that Fife lied. Fife had convinced Shirley to dance with Les instead of Doug so that he, Fife, could win the competition. It is also revealed that Fife is plotting to sabotage Scott in favor of audience favorite Ken. Scott runs after Fran and persuades her to dance with him. In the next round, Scott and Fran make their own dramatic entrance and begin dancing, immediately riveting the audience. Fife tries to disqualify them, but Scott's friend Wayne Burns, having overheard Fife's treachery along with his partner Vanessa Cronin, disconnects the PA system, allowing Scott and Fran to dance a paso doble routine that impresses the audience. Desperate, Fife tries to turn off the music, but Scott's younger sister Kylie and her partner Luke interfere until Fife's girlfriend Charm Leachman disconnects the sound system. Fife then disqualifies Scott and Fran, but Doug begins clapping out a beat to enable the pair to continue dancing. The audience claps along as Scott and Fran resume dancing. Liz, having had a change of heart, turns on Fife and Leachman and restores the music, and Scott and Fran's spirited dancing brings down the house. Doug asks Shirley to dance with him, and the whole audience joins them on the floor. As the performance finishes, Scott and Fran kiss, the competition forgotten. Ooh. Anyways. Yeah. That's the movie. Yeah. I mean, when you look at the other two films in this trilogy, their plots are pretty much the same, which is, it's fine because, like, they're similar stories of, like, star-crossed lovers and, like, defying the rules. But they are different. They are different in their ways. Yeah, and I mean, the trilogy itself, like, it's cool that, like, the first is, like, specifically, like, ballroom dancing. The second is, like, as theatrical as you can get because it's one of the, like, oldest plays, one of the most famous plays. And then the third being about burlesque, really. So, I mean, at least it goes different ways, and we can't really judge him for, like, doing similar things, especially when, again, all due respect, I love Ari Aster. I love both his films, but they're the same. Like, even I can admit that they're the same movie. So we can't judge that. I do think it's a great movie. What did I give it on Letterboxd? I always forget this. I need to start taking notes before I record. I'm not good at that. But let's not talk about my failings. I gave it 3 stars. Yeah. Yeah, my main gripe about it Sorry, I think I just got a new job. Anyways, my main gripe about it is that it does kind of drag. The first like third of the movie is fantastic. Like it's so good. The introduction of the movie is just incredible. It's so like I would recommend the first just watching the first like third of this movie. Like it's insane. Like the opening scene is just, oh my god, it is so Baz Luhrmann, which makes sense. This is his first movie. Like obviously it's gonna be the most him, but like, oh, the introduction is just wild. It is so wild. It's got like random interjections. It's like his parents and stuff being interviewed, like not really breaking the fourth wall, but they're yeah, kind of being interviewed about how he fucked up the competition with while also like showing the actual It's so good. It's so I like just go watch the first like 20 minutes of this movie. Like I shit you not. It is so but yeah, it does kind of drag a little bit. It like it yeah, after a little while it starts to drag. It's yeah, like I honestly I've already forgotten most of the plot, like how it looked. Yeah, a lot of the in-between scenes of him and Fran dancing and like his parents trying to whatever and them trying to hide, like it's that's where it starts to drag. And then like it's like boring kind of. Not boring, but just it's dragging. It's kind of slow. And then you get the Paso Doble scene with her family, with Fran's family, and you're like, oh shit, this is cool. That scene is really fun. And then, you know, the ending is really fun. But like by the time you get to the ending, you're like, I'm bored. Like it's, to be frank, like and like it's wild. I run into more like 90-minute movies that drag than I do like 2.5-hour movies. Like even even the Snyder cut was better paced than this. I hate to admit that. I don't like Zack Snyder, but I did like that movie. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it is 94 minutes long. But like again, like I said, after like the first 20 to 30 minutes, it starts to drag. It's still a good film. Like I would still recommend it. But like out of this trilogy, I would say go for Romeo and Juliet. Even though Moulin Rouge is iconic, and like I said before, it was my sexual awakening, I would say watch Romeo and Juliet because I think that one is the best paced out of all three. But one thing I've noticed, this is the fourth Baz film I've watched. I think the only one I haven't seen at this point is Australia. Let's see. I'm pretty sure he only has 5. Yeah. Okay. Strictly Ballroom, Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge, Australia, and Great Gatsby. So Australia is the only one I haven't seen. But having seen 4 out of 5 of his films, I will say he does struggle with pacing. Like, The Great Gatsby, the main issue I have with it is that, like, the modern editing and, like, music style does not fit well with it. Like, the soundtrack, I'll get back to Strictly Ballroom because we are not talking about fucking Great Gatsby. We're talking about this. But anyways, so, like, the soundtrack is great on its own. Like, I won't deny that. I still listen to it to this day. Like, I fucking love this soundtrack. But it doesn't fit the movie. And I get, like, what they were trying to do because, you know, the jazz era, it was a big part of like, Black culture. And, like, that's what, like, Black culture invented jazz. Like, you can't talk about the 20s and the jazz age without talking about the contributions that African Americans made to it. It wouldn't exist the way that it does in history without all of that, and that's important to note. And I'm glad that he included that in the film. But I don't think the modern style of rap matches the movie, specifically in the way that it's edited. You know, if I feel like his editing style did not work for The Great Gatsby. But in general, that's a gripe what I have with every Great Gatsby movie is like they all drag. But I mean, the movie itself, I mean, not the movie, the book itself drags. So, like, can you complain? Can you complain that all the movies drag? Anyways, continuing on, I will say Great Gatsby is probably my least favorite of his films, and he's one of my favorite directors. But like, getting back to the point, his main issue is pacing. He's not that great at it, to be honest. But it's okay. He's very stylized in his music and his production design, his costumes, and all of that. So like, I really appreciate that, and that's why I love him. I guess I love his films more for like their cinematography and editing and costume and music and stuff than I do the other parts. Well, editing actually. Okay, so what it special effects, I guess. I, I'm a film student. I should know these words. Tell me you don't pay attention in any of your classes without telling me you don't pay attention in any of your classes. Yep. Anyways, yeah, the main thing that goes for these films is the soundtrack. Like his scoring in every single one of his films is incredible. The only time that I think it didn't work out is Great Gatsby. But with that being said, the soundtrack is still like phenomenal. That's what happens when you get Jay-Z to make it, though. It's gonna end up great, even if whoever edited the movie did a poor job. But I digress. So yeah, back to this. Okay, so the cast, like I said before, if you're like more into like Australian cinema and stuff, you know who these people are, but I don't. So yeah, so you have Paul Mercurio as Scott Hastings. I keep misreading it as Mercutio, and I'm like, Mercutio, what is he doing here? And then you have Tara Maurice as Fran, Bill Hunter as Barry Fife, Pat Thompson as Shirley Hastings, who actually unfortunately passed away a month before the premiere at Cannes. So I don't think she ever actually got to see the movie. She did get a posthumous AFI award, which is great. Which, if you don't know, AFIs are the Australian Academy Awards. Gia Caritas as Liz Holt. She does have some Western fame. She's in the My Big Fat Greek Wedding franchise, as well as Big Little Lies. Peter Whitford as Les Kendall. Barry Otto as Doug Hastings. John Hannon as Ken Railings. Sonia Kruger as Tina Sparkle. Chris McQuaid as Charm Leachman. Pip Mushin as Wayne Burns. Mushin as Wayne Burns. Leni Page as Vanessa Cronin. Antonio Vargas as Rico. Armonia Benedito as Yaya. Jack Webster as Terry Best. Michael Burgess as Merv. Lauren Hewitt as Kylie Hastings. Steve Grace as Luke. And Carrie Shrimpton as Pam Short. What was I looking at? Oh, anyways, yeah. Another thing to note, diverging off from that, which, I mean, if you've listened to any other episode of this podcast, this happens a lot. Another thing to note is Baz Luhrmann loves showing, like, Spanish stuff whenever he can. As a white person, I can just educate it. I can't really. Yeah. It is more in the artistic sense of like music and dance, but he is still like showing off colonizer culture. I mean, given this is the 90s, the two films he does it most in were filmed, you know, over 20 years ago, 30 years ago, really, almost. So, but yeah, it is one thing to note that he does, yeah, especially in Strictly Ballroom and in Moulin Rouge, because you have the whole Roxanne scene. he does delve a lot into Spanish stuff, which it's I'm conflicted because I'm like, you're showing off the colonizer culture, like, but like, do we care about Europeans? No, but I'm like, it is in the artistic sense of music and dance, which Spain is widely known for, especially in ballroom dancing. So I'm just conflicted. I don't want to say too many things because I don't have my thoughts entirely collected on that, to be honest. And as a white person, my main duty is to sit back and listen and learn. So I'm not gonna speak for other people. But yeah, I'm just conflicted. I'm not gonna put anything out there because that's not my job. But yeah, my place is not to say anything on this other than I'm just conflicted because should we be showing that off? But also, like, it's an artistic thing that they're known for. Paso Doble is a Spanish type of dance. I don't know. One thing to note, which explains a lot of this, his mom was a ballroom dance teacher. Baz Luhrmann. And his dad ran a movie theater. So that kind of like explains a lot. That explains a lot. How is he straight? Anyways, so yeah, is his wife involved in this? One thing I learned while I was doing research on him for this is that his wife does a lot of the costume and production design, which is like probably the most notable thing about his films. So everyone say thank you to Catherine Martin because she is just she's doing the damn thing. What all like had like okay, so for Strictly Ballroom, she just did the production design. Romeo and Juliet production design. Moulin Rouge, she did both. Costume and production. Australia, both. And Great Gatsby, both. Yeah. See, she has 4 Oscars. So, yeah, she's the most awarded Australian in Oscar history. We love to see it. Yeah, she has 2 for Moulin Rouge and 2 for Great Gatsby for production and costume design. So like those that and the music are like the main things about his movies. Like I'll be honest. So do I think he's my favorite director or do I just really love that part of it? Is it really his direction or is it the visuals and the audio? Is it the music? And the production design and the costume design. Is he actually a good director? I don't know. He was nominated for Best Picture for Moulin Rouge, though. What else? He has 4 AFIs, 2 BAFTAs, 1 Golden Globe, and he's been nominated for 3 Grammy. He was nominated last year for Moulin Rouge the Musical for a Grammy. I'm not even gonna lie, I listened to it, to the musical, the Moulin Rouge, the Broadway. I don't like it because they changed the music. I don't know. I guess maybe licensing may have changed in the last 20 years, but still, I don't like it. Lady Marmalade did win a Grammy, but that wouldn't have gone to him. That obviously did not go to him. He didn't write that song. Anyways, So let's get back into it. The budget was 3 million Australian dollars, and it made 80 million Australian dollars. So it was pretty successful. But I think the reason, I'm gonna give my opinion because it's my podcast, so I should give my opinion. Yes, I think the reason it's considered a cult classic is because it's probably his least known film. Like, you ask anyone who actually knows Baz Luhrmann's name, because a lot of people I know don't recognize his name; they just recognize the movies. They're gonna know Moulin Rouge, Gatsby, or Romeo and Juliet, maybe Australia. They're less likely to know Strictly Ballroom. But it is a good movie. Like, regardless of what I said about it being horribly paced, like, it is a good movie. Like, I enjoyed it. I had a good time, especially during that first third of the movie. But yeah, okay. Production history. Let's get into that. Let's not, actually. Yeah, the film was accepted for Cannes, but when Pat Thompson passed away a month before the Cannes premiere, yeah. Oh, the cast and crew received a 15-minute standing ovation during Cannes. And it won the Prix de Jeunesse. Nice. So, I mean, it was a success, but, like, I think people have just forgotten about it, to be honest. To be completely honest, I think people have forgotten about it. It does have a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, as well as a 72 out of 100 on Metacritic. Yeah, yeah. It is a good movie, but the one thing I didn't like was they played a cover of Time After Time like a bunch of fucking times in the movie, and I was like, why are we still playing it? Like, they played it at least 2 or 3 times, and when they played it, they made it like a big whoo, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, are we really playing this song again? Yeah, but anyways, yeah, the musical stage production has not made it to Broadway. It's only been in Sydney, Melbourne, Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, in Leeds, and Toronto. Has not reached Broadway yet. The film is frequently referenced on the American iteration of Dancing with the Stars, as well as influencing the name of the original UK version, Strictly Come Dancing. It's referenced. It's referenced. I was like, Dancing with the Stars started in the 2000s. It started in 2005. I was like, it would be very American for them to claim that they came up with the idea when this concept was literally created in 1984, 20 years before Dancing with the Stars began in America. But that's not unlike America, to claim things that they didn't come up with, take credit for things that they didn't come up with. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. I need to do better with these Cult of the Month episodes. The first couple of ones went really well, and now I'm just slipping off. I don't really have a method for this. The only episode, to be honest, that I do have a method for is Streaming Wars, because I kind of have to. But, like, I go into these very chaotically. I don't like planning them, because then it leads to me just reading off of a paper, and that doesn't feel genuine to me. But please do. You can tweet me or comment on YouTube if you see it, or comment wherever. Leave a review. I don't fucking know. Let me know your thoughts on my structure of this podcast. Like, how do you think I could do it better? Because my fear, like, I know myself, if I write down a specific plan or like a script, I'm going to only read that and it's going to sound robotic. So if you have any suggestions, or if you like how chaotically I do this, just let me know. Because a lot of this podcast is me just like going off of a whim and winging it, which is fine. I enjoy it. I like rambling. Clearly, that's why we're here, 4 months later. So, but still, just let me know. Let me know. Because otherwise, I'm going to keep being an idiot. And I'm going to keep rambling with no real structure, which is fine. Like, I honestly don't mind not having a structure. But, like, this isn't about me, even though it's my podcast. It's not exactly about me. I would like to know what you think could make this podcast better. Yeah, with that being said, I think we're done talking about this movie. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Before we say that, back to the AFI Awards. It swept the nominations. It got 13. Yeah, so it was a huge success in Australia. It got 13 nominations and won 8 AFI Awards in 1992. It was also a success at the 1993 BAFTA Awards, gaining 8 nominations and 3 wins for costume design, film score, and production and design. Okay. So I'm not the only one, hopefully, who thinks that now that Baz Luhrmann's film are more just the music and the costumes and the sets. Like, it's okay. See, I don't think he's one of my favorite directors anymore. Because his movies are great, I'm not gonna lie, but like when you think about it now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, did I ever really like his direction, or do I just like what his wife has done with these movies and whoever scores the movie? The music was by David Hirschfelder. Has he done all of the movies? He did Australia as well. Oh, he only did those. He was a member of Little River Band? Wow, you learn something new every day. I love Little River Band. I'm not even gonna lie. I love Little River Band. Anyways, with that being said, thank you for listening. I'm sorry about the chaos, but at least you're getting energy this month. Last month I was fucking dead. I apologize for that, but life happens. But new age, new energy, new year, new me. Because technically your new year starts on your birthday, if you think about it, because like I was only born halfway into the year in 1998, so like I don't think 1999 could have been a new year, new me, because I wasn't even a year old. But anyways, we are 23 now. I'm gonna bring that up because I don't know that I brought that up in Streaming Wars. I probably did, but I also recorded that at the time that I recorded that. It was before my birthday still, so this is the first episode I'm recording after my birthday. So anyways, thank you for listening. Sorry. You can tell I just had coffee. Thank you for listening again. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th time I've said that now. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me to be able to do this kind of thing. Yeah. I'll let you know right now, I don't look at numbers, so I don't even know how many listeners I have. I don't know how big my audience is, but regardless, thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Regardless of how many people are there, even if nobody listened to the podcast, I'd probably still be making it because I have a good time just rambling to myself. So to those of you who do put up with this and listen to it, thank you. I really do appreciate it, to not feel annoying for once. I I just realized looking at myself, I have a tattoo from Man in the Iron Mask. Speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio, I just realized the nose on the mask looks similar to my own nose, and I got this like 6 months ago, so I can't like ask my tattoo artist because he moved. I can't ask him if he purposely made it look like my nose or not. I just noticed that. Anyways, you can find me everywhere at Lucky Peach, LVCKY Peach. If you go to any of my socials, you can click on a link tree. The link tree has my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Letterboxd, Twitch, take you to the podcast, take you to Patreon, patreon.com/luckypeach. I am forgetting something. I don't know what. YouTube. Did I say Twitter? I did. But it takes you everywhere. So, that's the easiest way to, find me. But again, my handle everywhere is Lucky Peach. So you don't even need to go through all of that, really. Yeah, thank you to my patrons, Abby, Luis, Gio, and Brad. Thank you. I really appreciate your support. It means the world to me. If you would like to join Patreon, where the main benefit is that you get each episode a week early, and if you're on the $6 tier or up, you also get video access to the podcast a week early, and also you can get merch. You can get special access to like my prep and stuff like that. You can get AMAs. You can get, I said merch. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you would like to join, go to patreon.com/luckypeach, LVCKY Peach. I really appreciate it. It helps me keep this podcast going. So, yeah. That being said, thank you again. I will see you guys next week for the monthly review, in which I will be reviewing Zola. So, come hither for that next week. I will see you then. Very excited for it. So, again, thank you. Stay peachy.